Hey YouTube, Logan with Hideaway Homestead here, coming to you today with a video on rabbits. And I wanted to make this video just as I think there's a lot of videos on YouTube about the watch this before you buy rabbits types of videos and all that stuff. And I think that it would be really good to just make a video. I've got tons of rabbit content on my channel. It's actually the content that seems to do the best is when I talk about the rabbits. I talk about a lot of stuff on the channel, but the rabbits seem to be the most popular. And so I figured that I would just, from my point of view and my opinion, some of the stuff that I would consider before I got rabbits. Because I don't really think I've ever put it into a single video before. So and there's lots of other people on YouTube that have opinions on this. So I'd check out some of their stuff and just see what's going to work best for you. And that's really my first tip is the internet is completely flooded with stuff that people, their opinions and their methods of keeping rabbits are all over the internet. You're going to find them all over YouTube, in forums, Google searches. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to give you what I use and what has personally worked for me. So what I would do, what I would say for the first tip is take everything with a grain of salt. So anything that you're watching with people on YouTube or on the internet, just take everything with a grain of salt and do your research and figure out what it is that's going to work for you with keeping rabbits. Number two, I would say if you can find somebody locally that is raising rabbits and that's doing it successfully, and you can probably learn a lot from them and maybe even completely mimic their system when you first start out when you don't know exactly what it is you want to do or exactly how you want to raise rabbits. Um, that being said, I know that I did a ton of research. I knew what I wanted to keep rabbits for and everything, and then I went and got my rabbits from a guy. He was doing a lot of things that I had researched about. Got to ask him a lot of questions, and learn a lot from him. And I went back and bought rabbits from him twice, and that's where all my breeding stock has come from. I've only ever got it from one guy, and it's served me really well. I mean, I've got a freezer full of rabbit right now, and I'm about to have um, it really full of rabbit. When I say full, I mean there's just a ton of rabbit bags in there. I mean there's other stuff in there, but I may end up actually halfway filling our freezer this January. So I keep mine primarily for meat. So that may be something that you want to do. If you're watching my channel, there's a good chance that's probably what you do or what you want to do is raising for meat. But there's several different reasons to keep rabbits. One would be for pets. Another would be for fertility, which kind of ties in with the pet deal into the garden, or just with your plants. Another would be for meat. Another would be for the pet trade, maybe, and um, another would be for their pelts. And in my opinion, rabbit pelts, I have not found any value in trying to raise them for the pelts. Not to say that I've actually tried. I'm sure there's people out there that do it, and actually, if you had the right business model, or if you had a specific use for them, I think it could probably be a good thing to keep rabbits for. But I found that just for me, the pelts, compost them. So I raise mine primarily for meat. But I think that number one, just keeping them for the fertility alone is an excellent option. Another thing I would say is as far as housing goes, a lot of people, I've found that rabbit people can either be just laid back and kind of everybody does their own thing, or they can be anytime anybody does anything different from what they're doing, it's an attack on what they're doing. So people get real sensitive and all bent out of shape. A lot of people hate cages, keeping rabbits up off the ground. There's plenty of people that have legitimate arguments for keeping them off the ground and keeping them in cages. There's a lot of people that keep them in colonies and have legitimate arguments for that and have busted what may be myths about some of the reasons that people keep them in cages. Some people do a hybrid of raising them in cages and growing out bunnies on the ground. And I think that there's just a lot of different ways. But if you're going to get into keeping rabbits, be sure to do all the research you can. And I would recommend, if you're just starting out and you really don't know, like I had eaten rabbit before um, I got these. I'm a fiend for wild rabbit. Now, wild rabbit is very different from the domestic rabbit. This is more of a chicken type product. It's kind of like the difference between a game rooster and a chicken that comes out of the Tyson chicken houses. So these rabbits are going to be a lot more white meat. Excuse me, and it's not going to be the same flavor that you're going to get from wild rabbit. But I knew that I wanted to grow them for meat, so I went whole hog and got a buck and 3 does, and then a little later on went and got some more, another, I think it was 2 bucks and 2 does to, get my genetic line going and do a thing called spiral breeding. I think I've got a video on that, but you can look it up on the internet. It's a pretty simple concept. Now, if you're not sure if you want to eat the rabbits or that you just want to keep them for fertility and maybe you want to breed some and sell some, what I would recommend is getting just maybe a couple of does or a couple of does and a buck. Because worst case scenario, if you did just go and get a couple of does, you could find somebody else that has a good buck and take your does to that person and let their buck breed your does, and then you can get offspring from those rabbits. Rabbits are extremely easy to transport. Some of the easiest livestock to transport. You can get a pet carrier and take them just about anywhere. So I would highly recommend just starting out with maybe a couple of does and seeing how you like them, see how you like taking care of them. Getting your feet wet before you kind of dive in. So anyway, those are just some of my tips and pointers on getting into rabbits. As far as feed goes, really, pellets. Now, some people, this is another thing that people get into arguments about. I see, if you look online, you can see people will say, oh, you should only feed pellets. There's a lot of commercial operations that feed only pellets, and that's what the rabbits live off of. That's all they eat. There'll be people that say, well, you should feed pellets, but only so much, and then you should make sure that they have plenty of hay. And then you've got people that feed a large amount of hay, and then you got people like me that are trying to get high nutrient plants that make pellets and feed that to the rabbits. So look into all that stuff. Do your research on what it is that you're going to feed. Some stuff, depending on the nutrition quality of it, rabbits will grow faster. But just making sure that they get the nutrition that they need is the most important thing. But those are my little tips and thoughts on if you're thinking about getting into rabbits, about doing. I guess I could touch a little bit on breed. I'm not real knowledgeable on breeds, because the only thing I've ever kept is the New Zealand's, which, well, I have kept in the past other types of rabbits, but they were really just kind of mutts, and I had them really just as pets as a kid. So anyway, yeah, I won't talk about breeds too much, but you need to make sure that you research what kind of breed you want to get into. If you're wanting to get into meat, I can't highly recommend the New Zealand's enough. I mean, I really can't. I really like just their low bone density and how much meat's on the carcass. And as far as other meat breeds, there are meat breeds out there. There's a silver fox, I know, is another one, but I'm not the expert on that. If you're looking at a specific breed, or you want to look at different breeds, I'd recommend going and looking on some of the YouTube channels that people that keep various breeds, or maybe keep the breed that you're thinking about getting, because there's a lot of them that are more geared towards the pet trade, more of them that are geared towards the pelts, and more that are geared toward the meat industry. And that being said, all rabbits poop and have create awesome fertility in the landscape. So if you're wanting to get them for that, I'd say get what you like. as far as colors and stuff, and then let them all mix and breed and have cute little bunnies and sell them at Easter, and then use the rabbit poop for your garden. So lots of different things to think about before you're getting rabbits. So I hope this video was helpful, maybe gave you a little more insight. And I just say, just be careful online, because don't listen to everything that I say and try to do everything just like me or anybody else on YouTube. Try to emulate, a little bit of this and a little bit of that that's going to work for you, or find somebody that you really like what they're doing and they're doing it successfully, and just follow them maybe. And especially if you can get somebody local that is keeping rabbits and that you can kind of learn from, that's gone through and made the mistakes that anybody who's starting to do something that they've never done before is going to make. And it'll help you out a lot. But if you found this video helpful, please leave a like. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section, or if you've got any suggestions for future videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and subscribe. I drop a video like this mostly every day, and I appreciate all y'all watching, and we'll see you in the next one.